Welcome back class. So we were studying about the implementation of the counters. Last time we have learned about that how we can make the asynchronous counters, and we learned that how we can make actually the 3-bit and the 4-bit counter. Okay. So the main problem with the asynchronous counter is the propagation delay. Okay, why? For example, if this is your clock input, okay, then this next flip-flop is operating on its output, okay, because this output is acting as its clock. So if as soon as we get this output, then this clock will operate. Okay, so there is some delay that this flip-flop will perform its operation, we will get its output, and then after that this flip-flop will operate. Okay, then this will flip-flop will perform its operation, we will get its output, and then this flip-flop will operate. So basically this flip-flop have to wait. For example, let's say it's take 4 nanosecond for its operation. Let's say this flip-flop take 4 nanosecond, then this flip-flop has to wait 8 nanosecond every time. Okay, then next cycle it will keep going. Okay, so to avoid this propagation delay, to make our counting fast, okay, we use the synchronous counter. So in synchronous counter, what is actually happening? All the flip-flop will be operating at the same time with the same clock. Okay, so for example, if you have 3 clocks, okay, 3 flip-flops, so all, for example, this is flip-flop 1, flip-flop 3, so you have 1 clock signal. So all the flip-flop, they will be operating with the same clock, synchronized. They will be synchronized with the clock input. Okay. Now let's learn that how we can actually make the synchronous counters. So we can start with the state sequence of the 3-bit binary counter. We know that 3-bit binary counter we can have like the total 8 sequences. Initially we can make it 0 0, then this is like 0 1 2 3 counting. Okay, count up 4 5 6 and 7, and 8th state is recycle. Okay, now to make the synchronous counter, so basically, for example, if this is your first flip-flop like J0 K0, and it has output of Q0, okay, and it is operating with a clock signal. So basically you have to design that what should be the input, what should be the input J0 and K0, so that for the complete cycle you will get this desired output. Okay, that is our target, that what should be the inputs so that you will get these outputs. Okay, now if you look at the output of the Q0, then what is happening? That at the first cycle, okay, for example, initially it's 0 at the first cycle, okay, initially it's 0, and as soon as the first cycle is coming, it is changing to 1. Then next cycle changing to 0, next cycle changes to 1, again next cycle changes to 0. So basically this is just a toggling mode, just changing its state from 0 to 1, 1 to 0, 0 to 1, 1 to 0. So this is just a basic toggle mode, right? So how we can achieve the toggle mode? If we make the J0 1 and K0 1, okay, if J and K both are 1, okay, how we can achieve 1? If we make them high state. So if we connect them to the high state, then this flip-flop, the LSB flip-flop, it will be operating in the toggle mode. So this is basically the implementation for this output. Okay. Now let's see. Now we want to implement this Q1 output. So we will have the second flip-flop. So it will have input J1, K1, and a clock signal which is synchronous, and we have the output Q1. So let's see now the output Q1. So if you look at this closely, so we can see that Q1 is changing its state. Okay, for example, these are its initial states. Now it's changing its states to 1, okay, when your Q0 is 1, right? it's changing its state in the next cycle. It's changing its state in the next cycle when the Q0 is 1. Okay. Then again, if see here, when Q0 is 1, it's changing its state from 1 to 0 in the next cycle. Again, when Q0 is 1, it's changing its state from the 0 to 1 in the next cycle. Again, when Q is 1, it's changing its state from 1 to 0. Right? So basically what is happening? Now, this output, the operation of this output is depending on this thing. Okay, so here we have the Q0. Okay, so it's changing its state when this is 1. So basically input should be this one, Q0. Right? Input should be this one. Because when this is 1, at that time the Q1 will change its state. Okay, so what we can do here, that simply we will connect the J1 and Q1 combined to the Q0. Okay, we will simply combine the J1 and Q1 to the Q0. That will be this output state implementation. Okay, now let's see the next one. So for the next one, now if you look at the state diagram, so what is actually happening if you look closely? So basically we have to look at the change of the states. Okay, so these are the initial states and then it changed to 1. So when it is changing to 1, okay, now look at the previous states, previous inputs. So the Q2 is changing its state when both Q0 and Q1 are high. Okay, again the state is changing here when both Q0 and Q1 are high. Okay, so basically the next flip-flop, which is our J2 and K2, and here we are getting K2. So J2 and K2 we can implement when both Q0 and Q1 are high. So basically Q0 and Q1 AND. So we take Q0 here, we take Q1 here, okay, we take both of them and this AND we apply to both J2 and K2. Okay, and the clock is coming from the previous. Okay, this is the common clock. Okay, so that will be the implementation of the 3-bit synchronous counter. So that is the clear diagram. Okay, so we can implement like this one. Okay, J1 and K1, this is basically depending on Q0, so simply feeding from that. J2 and K2, it is depending on Q0 and Q1 AND. So we take Q0, Q1 and we take their AND and we will get the desired output. Okay, and clock, so clock is the common, synchronized for all, same clock at the same time. Okay, so all the flip-flop will be operating at the same time. So this is the synchronous counter. Okay, so we can also draw the timing diagram for this case. Okay, so that will look similar, okay, as like the asynchronous counter. Okay, but the advantage is here, they are fast counter. Okay, because all the stages, all 3 flip-flops are operating at the same time. So to draw the timing diagram, so we can actually go reverse bias for the understanding. So I will explain this thing in the live session, that how we can actually draw its logic diagram, or the timing diagram by doing reverse bias. Okay. Similarly, that was a 3-bit counter. Okay, 3-bit counter. Now if you want to make a 4-bit counter, okay, so 4-bit counter means you want to place another flip-flop here, J3 and K3, and you want to get this Q3. Okay, now if you follow the logic here, what is happening? This is LSB, the first flip-flop coming from the last one. The next flip-flop AND of the last 2 stages. So this J3, K3, it will be AND of the last 3 stages. that we get Q0, we get Q1 and we get Q2 and we AND all of them. Okay, so we get Q0, Q1, so this is the AND. So basically we use this one here. So basically Q0, Q1 and Q2. If we AND all of them, then we supply here. Okay, that will be our 4-bit counter. Okay, so just follow the logic. 3-bit counter, last 2 states we AND them and supply here. 4-bit counter, last 3 states we AND them and supply here. Okay, so that is the 4-bit counter. Okay, this is the 4-bit counter. The timing diagram we will discuss in live session. Okay, that how we can actually implement it. So again, if you see here, this is an active low counter because we have a bubble here. For the asynchronous case, we have learned that we can make the decade counter. Okay, we can make 16-bit modulus counter that it has 16 state. Modulus means state. Okay, so we know that for the 4-bit counter we can have 16 states or 16 modulus. Okay, so if you want to make a decade counter as we did in asynchronous case, okay, so we introduce the glitch there so that it can reset after 0 to 9. It count from 0 to 9, like this is our 10th state and then it will reset after this. Okay, so this is the decade state. Okay, 10th state. So now we want to build a synchronous decade counter. Okay, so we will follow the same procedure like we did for the simple counter. So let's see now. So these are our states table diagram. Okay, so let's first try to implement the first one. So again, if you see here, this is just the toggle mode 0 1 1 0 0 1 1 0. So basically the first flip flop J0 K0, so I will just connect them towards the high mode and that will give me my desired output. Okay, now if I look for the next one, Q1 again, Q1 is changing its state in the next cycle when Q0 is 1. Okay, Q1 is changing its state towards the high cycle, but now we are making a decade counter. Okay, we have a limitation. Okay, so basically now for the Q1 there are 2 conditions here. One condition is when Q0 is high and the Q3 is low. Okay, so again see, when Q1 is high and Q3 is low, at that time, okay, in the next cycle Q1 is changing. Okay, Q0 is high and Q3 is low, next cycle the Q1 state is changing. Q0 is high, Q3 is low, next cycle the Q state is changing. Okay, that was the last condition. So here now for the next cycle, for the next like J1 K1, next flip flop Q1. Now the input J1 and K1 are basically depending on 2. Q1 should be high and Q3 should be low. Okay, so it means I should have Q1 and Q3 bar. I should AND them and then I should supply here at the J1 and K1. Okay, so that will give me this Q1. Okay, now if we look for the Q2 case, so for the Q2 case, if we closely look for the Q2 case, we can identify its logic also. So when is the Q2 state is changing? So Q2 state is changing here. So when is this state changing? When both Q0 and Q1 are high. Again, both Q0 and Q1 are high, so it's changing its state. Okay, so for this one case, the input should be Q0 and Q1. So we have this J2 and K2 flip flop. So its input, so we have Q0 and Q1. We make them AND and then we supply here. So that we will get this logic Q2. Okay. Next, for the Q3 case, what is happening? If we look here now, Q3 case, Q3 remains in this state and it's changing its state here, okay, here. So when this state is changing, so now if you look at the previous states, when all, it's changing its state when all Q0, Q1 and Q2 are equal to 1. Okay, this is the first case. Okay, it's changing its state when Q0, Q1 and Q3 will be 1. And also if you look for the second case, okay, now it's changing its state. So here it's changing its state from 0 to 1. Because a decade counter, so we have to reset after this condition. Okay, and here it is changing its state from 1 to 0. Okay, so what is the condition when this is changing its state from 1 to 0? Okay, now if you look here, okay, it's changing its state from 1 to 0. Okay, there are multiple ways. The simplest way is that we look at this condition that Q0 is 1 and Q3 is 1. Okay, so at that time this condition will this change will happen, or we can implement using this condition. Okay, so here we have other two options. The first one is this, and second one is Q0 is 1 and also the Q3 is 1. That could be the one way. Other way is we implement Q2 0, Q1 0 and Q0 is equal to 1. Okay, so here for this case what will happen, that this is J3 and K3, so Q0, Q1 and Q2, I will AND them, then I will AND them separately. Okay, the Q1 and Q3, so Q0 and I have Q3 here. Okay, so I will AND both of them, Q0, so let's say this is Q0 and Q3, so I will AND them, and this is one AND, so this AND both are coming and it is a sum. I will sum them and then I will feed here for J3 and K3. Okay, so this will be the logic for the Q3 implementation. So if we clearly draw this, it will look like this case. So this is the BCD2 decade counter, synchronized. All clock signals are synchronized, and this is the logic which we have derived in the last case. So basically this logic Q3 and Q3 is basically identifying this count, that as soon as 1001 is reached, it should reset. So to make it reset, we actually introduce this one here. Otherwise we can count the last one like Q0, Q1 and Q3 high, that's enough. But to reset after this condition, we are actually introducing this thing here, and then we OR and go to the next one. So that is the BCD2 decade counter. Waveforms you can see here. This is on IC which we can use at the synchronous binary counter. Okay, I will discuss briefly this IC in live session. Okay, it's waveforms. Up and down counter, similarly we can make the up and down counters. Okay, so basically in up and down counters we have an additional control input. Okay, for example you want to count up. Okay, so when your up signal is high, so you will be counting up, so 0 1 2 3 4 5, and when your down signal is high, you will be counting down, 5 4 down, 3 2, again up signal is high, so you will be counting up, 3 4 5 6 7, again down signal is low, you will be counting down. Okay, so we can derive the similar logic as we did earlier. Like for the up counter, we know that we can make the logic which we have derived here. Okay, this logic, that is the up counter. So in this counter now we have to incorporate the down counter. So we can devise the down counter logic in the same way like we did for the up counter, and the final up and down counter will look like this one. We will see briefly that some more in more details in the live session. Again, this is an IC. There are two ICs. This is for the decade counter, and this is for the binary counter. Okay, this is for the decade, and this is the 4-bit binary counter. So we can use them. So far we have learned that we can design any kind of the synchronous counter, okay, using up and down counter. So, but like if you want to make a specific kind of counter, so there is a procedure, counter design procedure. Okay, so the first step in the counter design procedure is that is like if you want to make any kind of specific kind of counter. So the first step is draw a state diagram. Okay, whatever counter you want to make. Okay, draw its state diagram. Second question is, for example, it's a 3-bit counter in gray code form. So this is a finite state machine diagram in gray code form. Okay, 3-bit counter. Next is draw its state table. Okay, for example, the previous state is what? 0, 0, 0, and next state is what? 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1. Okay, in the next cycle, this is previous state. So the previous state is 0, 0, 1, next state is what? 0, 1, 1. Okay, next cycle, this is previous state. So previous state it was 0, 1, 1, and next state is 1, 0, 1, 0. Okay, so similarly we can derive the state table. Next, if we are implementing using the JK flip-flop, so we will make the JK flip-flop transition table. I will explain this thing in live session, that how we can make this. And then by comparing these two tables, okay, this transition table and this state table, we can actually devise the K-map. Okay, and then using K-map, we can get the logic, simplified logic, and then we can implement that. So that is if you want to implement any kind of counter, so make it finite state machine diagram, make it state table, make the transition table for your device. For example, if you are using JK flip-flop, so make the transition table for that, and then compare these two, and then by comparing you can make the K-map. And once you get the K-map, we can actually make the desired counter of any kind. So these are the K-maps for the 3-bit counter, and this is the final design, okay, from these K-maps. So we will discuss this final design in the live session. Cascaded counter, like if you want to get high modulus counter, for example, this is a counter 1 which is making 16-bit count, 4-bit counter, okay, up to 16 modulus. This is modulus, and so you want to count up, okay, so you can use another counter. So this is also 4-bit counter. Okay, so once this counter has reached its maximum count, for example 15, then you can enable this counter, and then this counter will start next from 15 plus 1, 16, 17, and go on. Okay, so by cascading them, you can achieve the higher modulus counters. Example, we will solve this in live session. So that is the end of this part of this lecture for this chapter. We will solve the relevant example in the live session. Thank you very much for your time.